thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. So what I've been thinking about lately is the content of this channel and why I am making the content that I am making. And I can see from a lot of different people's perspective, because people who agree and disagree alike watch my videos. They comment and say, like, you're right, you're wrong, I agree, no, the person you're reacting to is right, you're wrong. And I just wanted to not necessarily address that, but just explain. I think it's important to come in and explain from time to time why creators make the content that they create. And that is what I'm going to do before getting into today's reaction video. Why do I make reaction videos to the people that I do, the people that I choose to react to? And the reason is, for some people that I react to their content, it's because I watched their content at a time when I was extremely misinformed, not knowledgeable, not necessarily even willing to educate myself. And by that I mean not just learn the science, the facts, but I wasn't willing or at a place where I was able to learn for myself my body. Our bodies are all different. We all struggle with different physical ailments and disorders, and mental and psychological issues and disorders. There's a wide range of things that we all struggle with, and they're all different, and we all struggle differently, and we all recover differently. So some of the people that I react to, I watched and I listened and I absorbed it and believed that we were all the same. All of our issues were the same and they could be solved the same. That can be a lie that an eating disorder can tell you, because then it becomes very disheartening and discouraging when you don't recover the same as the people that you are watching, or you don't turn out the same as the people you are watching. And from the beginning of this channel, I wanted to be the voice that I never had. Now that I've branched out and I'm reacting to more content creators that I used to watch and listen to and think were right, and then I stepped back and I realized I am not being empathetic at all. I need to have more empathy and sympathy for people. I was also in a very dark place and I lost sight of who I was. Coming out of that dark place, I realized that while yes, these people might be speaking truth, or they might be speaking partial truth, they are delivering it in a way that is not receptive to the mass majority of people. I want to not only be the voice I never had, but I want to be a voice that says, hey, person who is struggling with an eating disorder, body image issues, anything in that category of problems, you don't need to listen to this person. This person might have good intentions. You can have good intentions and still be harmful. I can now watch these videos and have a logical conversation with myself and dissect what they say, pull out the parts that are true, and separate it from the anger and the hate, whatever the opposite of empathetic is, and be able to recognize the important parts and throw out the BS. But I know also people who are stuck in the dark place that I used to be in, listening to the eating disorder and letting it control your life. I know that that conversation with yourself is practically impossible. So if I can reach one person and help them hear that conversation, which is what I try to do with the reactions that I do, and be that conversation, so that maybe a person hearing that coming from me can turn around and start doing it for themselves when they stumble upon a video with a clickbait title and feel like I should watch this video even though it might be triggering. You can watch a triggering video and still be able to not be triggered, if that makes sense. You can learn to have these conversations with yourself and separate the triggering part from the possible truth in it. And I do sometimes agree, but I'm trying to separate the agreement and the approach. Anyway, I said this was going to be brief and quick, and it was not. Luckily, the video that I have selected for today is only 4 minutes and 9 seconds long. It is entitled, Eating Less is Fatphobic. It is from this guy, but it's from his podcast clip channel. The person who is in the thumbnail, I follow on Instagram, and he has an eating disorder background, and that's what his content is about, and I have always really liked his stuff. Like to know what his approach to these sort of things are.
When your advice to a fat person on the internet is to eat less when they are not having a problem with overeating, that doesn't make sense, because you do have a problem with overeating garbage foods.
That's an assumption because first of all, you can overeat on healthy, clean foods and still be overweight because you're overeating. It doesn't matter if it's junk food or garbage food or whatever it is he just said. It was 30 seconds ago and I've already forgotten. That's the problem with people like this. They're speaking half-truths. You can absolutely overeat on healthy food and still gain weight. Yes, you have to eat a lot because healthy food tends to be lower calorie, but that's also not necessarily always true.
How do you think this happens? How do people think this happens?
I just explained how that happens. Overeating, regardless of what it is, can lead to weight gain. Weight gain can lead to being overweight. Not always, because sometimes weight gain is necessary, which is another thing a lot of these creators seem to demonize, is weight gain. It's called necessary weight gain for a reason.
If your advice to a fat person on the internet is to eat less when they are not having a problem with overeating, you don't care about their health.
Why are you yelling, and why are you doing this like in the back room of some kind of like mega church or something?
This person has clearly never been to a mega church before. What does that have to do with anything? This person just pulls at straws and insults not relevant things because they don't have very much to say anyway. You should never tell someone to eat less. I don't care if the person is like morbidly obese. You do not tell someone to eat less. A person needs to learn to make healthy changes. Healthy changes implies eating less. There can be subtle differences in language that can be helpful or not helpful. Telling someone to eat less, not helpful. Helping someone make healthier choices, helpful. I understand what the person is saying. You don't care about that person's health because health goes deeper than just physical. It's mental too. Language, even though it is spoken, I feel like it's a mental thing because you absorb it through your brain, you process language through your brain. Let's just hear what he has to say in regards to this. I don't think the person's really shouting per se. I think he's just speaking loudly so that it's clear. The microphone picks it up, and I also think he's in an echoey room. But that's irrelevant to the message of the video. So can we just stay on message? Thanks.
You don't care about their health. You just are fatphobic.
Oh, twinkle toes. Are you still not making sense?
No, he's making sense. You're just choosing to not make sense of it. I don't know if it necessarily makes you fatphobic to make that slip up and say that. I think there are some people who do say it to be cruel. That would be fat phobia. But I think just if you're misinformed on the language and how to interact with people who struggle, that doesn't make you fatphobic. That just makes you ignorant. You can change ignorance. You can educate yourself. You can unlearn, your language habits. That's a change that you can do. It can be an easy change too if you just dedicate, time to it. And also learn to apologize and take responsibility when you hurt people with your language and your words.
Oh, poor baby.
So he's just gonna insult the person for no reason and not stay on message and address what he's saying. He hasn't said anything in response to what the guy has said. Hasn't said anything.
Also, when did they ask for your help? Did they? Maybe your advice is unwarranted, and maybe unwanted, and maybe not helpful, and maybe just hateful.
Oh, you're an ally. We have an ally on our hands.
Why is being an ally to people something worth mocking? Don't you want to be an ally, like, to people? Don't you want to support people? Or do you just not care about people, but you care enough to respond to them in a pointless way, but you just don't care about them as people and their humanity because they disagree with you, or you just can't wrap your head around what they're saying and maybe extract the truth that they are saying? If people want help, they'll ask for help. Telling someone to eat less, go to the gym, which is a very popular thing this man and his followers like to say on other people's videos, is go to the gym, or like, why aren't you in the fucking gym, or some shit like that. That's not helpful. That's not for that person. That's just for yourself, to make yourself feel better and make you think you're funny or something, because you're not funny. You're just annoying. Your advice, it's not even advice. It's just for your own gratification.
That's nice. Good man. Good man. Standing up.
Real men stand up for other people even when they don't know them. You, however, I used to listen to and think was right. Let's just say you fed my eating disorder voice some things, and I fought for a long time to unlisten and unhear the things that you have said. Now I can hear you and be like, yep, I hear you're saying words. They don't mean anything.
If your advice to a fat person on the internet is to eat less when they are not having a problem with overeating, one, that's kind of funny. It's funny because they do have they have disordered eating for sure.
Not necessarily, because what if that overweight person is less overweight than they were? So you just telling them to eat less is actually super unhelpful, because they probably already are, because maybe they're on a weight loss journey, they're already eating less, and by you telling them to eat less to the less that they are eating, that can cause an eating disorder and an eating disorder mindset, believing that they are not losing weight fast enough, that they're not good enough because they're not losing weight fast enough. They need to lose weight faster. It should be rapid weight loss. It needs to be instantaneous. And that could lead them to under eating, which I'm sure this guy would be like, what's wrong with that? I don't have time to get into what's wrong with that.
I mean, if you're fat, then guess what? It's either a product of what you're doing now or what you did in the past. And either you're working on it or you're not working on it.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
But what does that mean? It's chronic inflammation. It's excessive caloric intake. It's lots of toxins in your body.
It's the toxins. Let's talk about the toxins. What are these toxins? I don't have time to get into the pet peeve of toxins in the body. Detox.
Body, it's endocrine disruptors, it's lack of sleep, it's lack of hydration, it's a number of things. That's why we have 7 pillars, and it takes time to go through all these and to tweak and to fine tune, and sometimes there's a lot of damage that won't be completely undone.
The 7 pillars is some, I think it's his program, so I'm glad he snuck that in there to, sell something.
Because when you're a child, when you're young, you have a clean slate, you have a fresh, you don't have the decades of compounded damage.
Not true, because children are sometimes born with damage. Me, for some reason, probably genetics, thanks grandma, I have always had a fucked up digestive system. Did I do any favors having an eating disorder and abusing laxatives and becoming bulimic? Did that help? No, but it was already set in motion. It was already active, from a very young age. People are shocked when I tell the story of a few years ago, not pooping for weeks on end. I didn't do that. That happened as a kid too. I just could get it in. Pooping didn't happen. Girls don't poop. I did not poop for a long time, all throughout my life. And it comes and goes, my entire life. I was born with that. So kids do not always have a clean slate. You don't start from scratch. You're born with genetics and genetic dispositions for certain things. Maybe if my parents knew at the moment of my birth that I was going to have these issues in the next 5-6 years, yeah, maybe they would have fed me differently. They didn't know until I started showing symptoms of my problem when I was like 5 or 6. I stopped going number 2 very often. Also a very stressed child at like the age of 5. Stress plays a huge part in digestion. It's weird. There's a weird connection, especially when you already have a pre-existing condition and then you add stress, like severe stress, to a child. The symptoms become amplified.
If you've been eating like crap for 50 years, can you make amazing progress and changes? Of course, but you also have all that in your wake that is really hard to undo. You can't go back in time and change the wear and tear on your joints when you weren't practicing yoga. I know we all wish we can go back to the beginning and do it right this time. Hindsight's 2020. So can you make a lot of progress no matter where you start? Sure.
Yeah, so you have to let people make those changes to make progress. I did not change my diet one day and the next day I was able to poop. Like that's not how it worked. It was a process. Same with weight loss, same with weight gain, same with anything to do with the human body in that category. It's a process. So you have to let people do that. So just diving in and jumping in with no knowledge of where they are in that process and saying, eat less, go to the gym. I am going to the gym. Do I need to go more? I don't have time to go more, but this person who is telling me, and they seem to be an authority, or telling me to go to the gym, but I do you see this confusion? And this can lead to some people just giving up or just going down a darker, not healthy path. Like, you don't know where they are in that process. So what is the point of leaving that comment or giving that advice? Like, what's the point?
But you also have to understand that if you have a lot of time in your history, like years and years of abuse of garbage foods, of lack of exercise, lack of sleep, it just might be a steeper climb.
Exactly. The process is going to be longer. So you are literally throwing a thorn into that person's process when you say shit like eat less. You have achieved nothing. You are actually deterring that person. You are actually making it more difficult for that process to go at a natural speed. Because now you've given them like this speed bump that they're not sure if they can make it over. Like, think about it. Like, also think about what you're saying. Like, oh my God.
Show me one obese or fat or overweight person that doesn't have a problem with overeating. Even if you're eating garbage foods, you're still eating too much of them. But of course, we all know in this Swole family, we know that foods also have other side effects. They have other forms of like inflammation and other things that can compound. So it's not just caloric surplus, it's also what these foods do. So this guy's just trying to be like, when did they ask for your help? Did they? If you're like literally going after people, I'm responding and we're just kind of having fun listening to some of this nonsense. But I mean, if you're actively looking to hurt people, that's one thing. But if you're also, like for me, if I'm speaking truth and I'm speaking facts and I'm talking about it from personal experience and from helping thousands of people lose hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of pounds, it's your choice.
So I kind of appreciate what he just said at the very end. Like, I don't think he finished the thought of like, if you're going in just to be mean. I think there was supposed to be more to that thought, but he never finished it. It also sounded like, yeah, if you're going in and just being hateful to be hateful towards these people and going after people, like that's wrong. But I can do that because I have experience. No, this doesn't warrant you to be an asshole. There's no excuse to be an asshole for no reason. There's no. I love it when these people are like, I've helped thousands and thousands of people. Congratulations. Here's a trophy. Like, what's the point? Are you trying to prove that you're experienced? Like, you're an expert? Good job. I have personal experience too. I can throw a lot at you, but I'm not going to, because it's not Relevance. Anyway, what was the title of that video? Eating less is fatphobic. No, a better title, a more truthful title in relevance to this video would be telling people to eat less is fatphobic. Eating less in and of itself is not fatphobic. That was never even spoken in the video. So thank you. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Much longer than I was planning on, but hey, that's kind of how all my videos turn out. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy it, you can give it a thumbs down. That is cool too. I don't mind. If you are not subscribed already, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit the notification bell to stay notified of all future uploads. If you have any comments, questions, video suggestions, anything at all, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Be sure to go follow me over on Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye!